All right. So I'm gonna talk about retail. Um, I guess my first job was Greco. It was like my biggest job. I mean, I had jobs before, but this was like my most long term. And it wasn't bad of a job at first. I did pretty much everything to the point where I was pretty much mastered of, cooking, cleaning, doing all the work to the point where I could be a supervisor. The only thing I never did was drive because I don't have a car. But I'm going to talk about the good and bad of retail working while I was there. So the good part was like I was really excited. I was happy. I got a job. I worked there for almost four. I'm pretty sure it was 4 years, and it had some ups and downs. I seen people come and go, and the management was on and off. Um, I was pretty much the only English guy there. I was also the most native or indigenous person there. And the staff was either, your friends, coworkers, or even family. I made some good friends, close friends, and I pretty much made family there, being there so long, and we all had like the same common goal, which is pretty much to get the day done, get those hours in so we can get that bread. Uh, the service of it wasn't too bad. I mean, every store has its ups and downs and good parts and disgusting parts. Like when I used to work there, I was pretty much the one that cleaned the most because everybody didn't like doing that. I cleaned a lot. I enjoyed it. Times where I had to clean mold or gunk off certain things or prep up the place, make it nice and fresh, sterilize it even. And I was just a prep in the beginning. Eventually, I worked on the oven. I even made dough, cashier, and it was not too bad. It's retail, it's fast food. It's the only job I can get for the time being, not being bilingual. A lot of people, slacked while the hard workers worked hard and the lazy people just chilled. It's normal. Once you work in fast food, there's always a handful of people, and you'll know right away. And there was times where I was fucking miserable because people, I mean, it's fast food, so you meet a lot of different types of people, all kinds of like race, language, personalities, a lot of Karens, but it wasn't all bad. I mean, I was pretty polite to most of everybody, but I mean, they come and go a few stupid questions and a few stupid customers where I wouldn't directly call them dumb or stupid, but I would definitely say or ask, "Are you stupid?" And I don't know, I was working during like a lot of my toxic relationship and depression, so a lot of the hours were long and the affected my mental health there. And I tried to tough through it because a lot of the coworkers that I had there were family and they supported me if I needed a little bit of extra break or if I needed some time away. I had some of the support. The management wasn't too bad, but there was times where shortcuts were made and there were not appropriate, I guess. Like, I mean, if you worked in fast food, you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to shortcuts. A lot of things are cheaper, and when you work at a pizza place, you got to be kind of cheap on the toppings, or you have to do it a certain way regardless. And a lot of the dough that I was making that we had to toss them in the morning, but we never did. My boss decided to keep them around just so he can use them up so he can save money. So a lot of people were kind of eating, I don't know, past due dough. It wouldn't kill you, doesn't do anything. It's more or less a flavor thing. It's like when you eat fresh dough compared to a day old, crust. So that's kind of the general of it. So the people I worked with were, funny. Some were louder than others, some were quiet than others, some mind their business, some came in just to work, but most of the time we all just needed to goof around after, a lunch rush or a dinner rush came in. We needed that comic relief. So we joked around a lot, told each other stories or experiences or even advice. And sometimes it would get out of hand where a lot of personalities would clash. So a lot of, not a whole lot of drama, but a few people wouldn't get along at all. And my boss, he was fair in some parts, but he was unfair in others. I would do shifts for people because, say, they will call in sick, so I would have to do a double. And that's usually like a 12-hour shift to like 16 hours. And you would get 2 breaks, which is 30 minutes, but if you were doing a double, you would get an hour, but you can split that hour into parts. A lot of time, my ex-girlfriend at the time would call in sick, and I would do her shifts for her, or even do doubles, or... So there was that, while my ex was usually fucking around behind my back at the time. I went through, I think, at least 2 to 3 different managers. My first one wasn't too bad. I loved her. She was pretty much like a mother to me. Treated me fairly, talked to me normal, didn't look down on me, and she helped me out with emotional stuff. Like someone I can talk to pretty much. And then the boss came in and my manager left or quit because she was also treated unfairly. He wasn't too bad. He gave breaks when needed. He gave you days off, but something about me, I couldn't get them. I asked for them and I wouldn't get them. Certain days off, I couldn't. And now he was bad. I think he was just bad at managing the time and schedule. What was annoying is that I'm not a people person, but I know how to bite my tongue when it comes to, customer service. I'm really good at it. I was the only one that knew how to work on the online part of it because I was like one of the youngest and up to date with it. And everybody was a bit older and he didn't know how to use it or didn't really care to get to know the online service of it. So I was pretty much the customer service on the online part as well. Anytime anybody had questions, I answered it. I knew the answers. I was heavily experienced. Working there for 4 years, you pick up a few things and you learn. Now, the unfair part of me was that I was not a people person. A lot of customers would come in and tell me how to do my job, or they would critique it, or they didn't like my tattoos and piercings, and they would constantly poke fun or attack me when it came to poor service, even if I was there or not. There would be days where I wasn't working, and I would get the blame on poor customer service every time. Same thing on the phone, where if we were not going to deliver to a certain destination, either it's too far or during the corona we couldn't make it there for, I don't know, health reasons, I explained to it fairly and they would get mad and of course yell and throw a fucking tantrum. And there's only so many tantrums I can put up with a day. I'm dealing with the same stupid questions 50 times a day for 6 days a week. And I don't have the patience in me to deal with that. In the morning, I'm fine. And then when it comes to the afternoon and it's like the 5th time I've heard, how come you can't deliver to this place? And I'm like, I can't because, the virus. I'm like, do we have a pandemic? Do you not fucking know that? Are you retarded? Do you not read the news? To the point where I got so frustrated where I just didn't even want to deal with the phone anymore. Not picking up. I knew I was going to tell the first customer off regardless who it is. And I was starting to be treated unfairly because I was a really hard worker. I went there 15 minutes early. I usually stayed. I got things done, and then I just started slacking because someone got promoted higher than me, but I've been there longer. They get paid more. And then the pandemic happened. And then everybody was off work, and so we usually have around 12 to 13, 15 staff in store, and we've shrunk it down to 5 to 6 staff. And we're struggling and tired because it's just us dealing with the shifts to the point where I just you know what, fuck this. I couldn't deal with this shit anymore. But the dumbest customers constantly coming in holidays and fucking bitching about us about, oh, why are they making you guys work on the holidays? I'm like, why the fuck are you shopping here on the holidays? You're the reason why we're here. I just got fed up with the customer service part. I was done dealing with stupid people because like the general public is so fucking retarded, man. I don't understand it because I wasn't rude when I was a customer. I was kind of patient, and ever since I became a realtor worker, I was ever so patient with customer service with the employee of wherever I went to go eat fast food or anywhere. Retail workers, I appreciate them, and everybody thinks like they're so damn privileged when they coming through those doors. The customer's always right, even though they're fucking dead ass wrong. I would get so damn angry at any customer saying like, "Oh, the customer's always right," and I have be like, "No, it's not. I'm not gonna kiss your ass." The boss can stand behind my back and tell me like, "Don't say that." I'm going to fucking say it. You're not right. So I would have a lot of complaints on my attitude, but my attitude was slowly becoming more worse as the time kept going. With the unfairness for my boss, the unfairness to customers, and eventually the unfairness with my employees. Not that they were bad, but they threw me under the bus a lot when it came to complaints. And I just told my boss I nod and accept the consequences as it is, regardless if I did them or not. I did work hard. I did a lot of good things there. I had a lot of fun. I didn't mind being a pizza boy. It was one of my dream jobs as a kid. But then the unfairness just took over, and I just got fed up. On my last days of work, I had my last week where I was trying to work hard to be around, stick around, but I was slacking at the same time, leaving an hour early. And to the point where when I finally had my last customer, I flipped my shit on him because this person decided to call me during the pandemic, and they're like, "Can you deliver to this camp zone?" I'm like, "No, we can't go there." And he was just saying, why can't you go there? It's not that far. Why can't you come? And it just kept going where I'm like, "Sir, we can't." And I just hang up, and he would keep constantly calling back to the point where I just lost my shit. I just told him off. I called him every name in the fucking book. I put him down. I put his whole family down. And eventually I just slammed the fucking phone. And every time he called, I would just yell at him and hang up, and eventually grab my shit and I just left. That was my last day. That my employees can see how frustrated I am with how the general public is to retail workers. It was the unfairness. And people will say, "Well, why did you do retail work?" Well, my town is very small and very limited with jobs that we have here. It's either you're a retail worker or you're a welfare bum. There's no in between. This town has no big name jobs. And it's just really small. I mean, you can be a doctor, but you gotta go to college for that. And I wasn't interested in college because at the point when I was younger, didn't think I would even make it past 20 years old because I was depressed and committing suicide here and there. So I kind of deal with the hand that was dealt with at this time. But doesn't mean you can't respect and be patient and with retail workers, because they don't deserve it. They're people like you and me. And most of me made this video because of my experiences, and to say to people that you really need to be patient with retail workers, especially on holidays. Because where I worked, there was no holiday off. I never got holidays off during my 4 years there. We even work on Christmas Eve. And the only day off that we get is Christmas itself. And that's it. That's the only holiday. So I would say, like, please, people, be more patient. Don't flip the fuck out because you didn't get what you want. Let us work with you. Communicate is key here. And to, I don't know, not be an asshole because you didn't get your order right or whatever. You have to correct us as well. We do have our off days. So next time you go to a retail worker, just be patient. Even tell them have a nice day, because we don't hear that. We have to say it, and you might make someone's day. So that's the point of this video, is to awake people from stop being such brain dead fucking retards to retail workers, and actually look at the aspect on the other side of the glass. sometimes people didn't get a fair chance, so that's the route we go to, is just be fast food workers. And I'm off. I haven't been there for almost 2-3 months. I quit because of the retardness from my boss and the customers, the unfairness, and you know, Greco wasn't the most cleanest or the greatest place to eat from. And ever since I left, I mean, it's still up and down. So anyway, like or subscribe or don't. I don't do this for a living. I do this for fun. And you guys have a good holiday and be safe.